In this video, we'll go over everything, and I mean everything, that you can do with the Spark app and a Spark amp. First, go to the App Store or Google Play and download the Spark app to your device. Once installed, open the app, fire up your Spark amp, and click the Connect button on your device. Your amp should be found quickly and connect automatically. Follow the prompts for the best experience. These include registering your amp with Positive Grid and signing into your Positive Grid account. Speaking of which, if you don't have an account, you can choose to skip this step or register for an account. If you want to use ToneCloud, restore in-app purchases such as the Experienced Jimi Hendrix Amp and Effects Pack, and utilize Spark AI, you'll need to have an account and be signed in. Next, let's connect to Bluetooth in order to stream audio to your Spark. Open the settings on your device and choose the Bluetooth section. With your Spark powered on, put it into Bluetooth pairing mode. Note that the method for doing this depends on the model of Spark, so let's run down each model super fast. Spark 40 will automatically go into pairing mode for Bluetooth connections. For all models of Spark Mini, Spark Live, Spark 2, and Spark Edge, tap the pairing button on the back of the amp. For all models of Spark Go and Spark Neo, tap the power button to enter pairing mode. On your device, find your amp under Other Devices and click it. Your amp's audio connection should show up under My Devices with Connected next to it. Now that we have the amp connected and streaming audio connected through the app, let's jump into the interface. The main tone control screen is where you can see the signal chain, including the amp and all effects for any given preset. By default, this page will show the internal preset your amp is set to. Across the top of this page are all the preset controls. In the upper left, you'll see the name of the currently selected preset and the channel of the amp you have connected. Only certain Spark amps have multiple channels. These include Live, Spark 2, and Edge. On these models, you can access the additional hardware preset banks in the preset menu. Clicking on the preset name opens the preset menu. Across the top of this page, collections of presets available in the app are organized by genre. Double-clicking a preset will set it as the currently loaded preset on your amp. There are plenty of great factory presets available, so be sure to explore and try them all out. If you own a Spark Control or Control X and you have it connected, you'll see an icon for it here. Clicking through gets you to the control settings, where you can switch between preset control schemes and customize the functionality of the switches. If you have an expression pedal connected, this is also where you can set how it functions and calibrate the pedal sweep. If you want to see how to connect a Spark Control or Spark Control X, you can find out more in the menu page section of this video. In the upper right of the Tone Control page, you'll see a cloud icon. This is how you access the ToneCloud, Positive Grid's massive collection of tones from artists like Zakk Wylde, Paul Gilbert, Nuno Bettencourt, Elliot Easton, and more, as well as tones crafted and shared by Spark amp users across the globe. It's over 100,000 tones and growing. In the top left of the page, you'll find the ability to filter tones alphabetically, by popularity, and chronologically. Or you can search with the search bar by artist, user, genre, song title, etc. If you find a tone you like, you can share it by clicking the share link, favorite it by clicking the heart icon, and try it out on your amp by clicking the download button. If you choose to download a tone, you can rename it, categorize it by genre, and follow the creator. To keep the tone inside the app, click the Save button in the upper right. So you've got a tone you like in the app and you want to save it more permanently for future use. Click the 3 vertical dots in the far upper right and you'll get a pop-up menu of options. You can overwrite the current tone, save as a new preset including naming and categorizing it, share your tone to ToneCloud, delete it, or save it as an always available hardware preset. If you want to share to ToneCloud, you get the opportunity to add a unique name, set the genre, and add tags to make it easier for users to find your tone. When you're ready, click the share button in the upper right. If you choose to save to hardware preset, you can name your tone and choose which channel the preset will be saved to. On single channel Sparks like Go, Neo, 40, and Mini, you can save to one of 4 channels. On Live, Spark 2, and Edge, you can save to one of 4 channels in each of 2 banks, or a total of 8 possible channels. Moving down, we get into the part of the interface you'll probably use the most, the signal chain. Across the top, you can see all parts of the signal chain. On phones, you'll need to drag back and forth to access all the parts of the chain. On tablets, you can access the whole signal chain at once. There are 7 fixed slots, 3 effect slots ahead of the amp, an amp slot, and 3 post-amp slots. Amps and effects can easily be turned on and off by swiping down on the effect or amp to turn it on, and swiping up to turn it off. Slots that are turned on and active will be brightly colored. Slots that are off will be raised and dimmed. Alternatively, you can turn components on or off by clicking the Effect Stomp button or the power switch. To choose a different effect or amp, double tap the slot in the chain. A menu will open showing you all available effects or amps for that slot. Clicking an option in the menu will highlight it, indicating it's the currently selected effect or amp. Clicking the top bar of the menu closes it back up. Changing settings on amps and pedals is just like using real effects. Click on the component you want to adjust and swipe the knobs to adjust values and settings until you achieve the sound you want. Currently, there are 33 amp models available on all Sparks. Multi-channel Sparks with XLR connections like Spark Live and Spark Edge also have vocal-specific amps and effects available. There are 43 effects units. Spark Live and Edge also get vocal-specific effects. If you choose to purchase the in-app Experience Jimi Hendrix upgrade, you'll have access to an additional 6 amp models and 6 effects pedals specific to emulating Jimi's unique sounds. The Experience Jimi Hendrix add-on works on all models of Spark. In the bottom left of the tone control interface, you'll see the default tempo for the preset. Clicking this opens a pop-up menu where you can set the tempo by tapping or adjusting the value manually, affecting time-based effects like delays and modulation. In the lower right corner is a microphone icon you can click to enable voice control for the app. You can use voice commands to access Smart Jam for accompaniment and drums, playing a backing track, or access the metronome just by speaking commands. Next to tone control, you'll find the music page. On this page, you can access all the ways to improve your musicianship available in the Spark app. If you're connected to a Spark 2 or Spark Edge, you'll have access to 2 loopers that will appear near the top of this page, the Simple Looper and the Groove Looper. The Simple Looper is a great way to record phrases to play along and practice with. At the top of the looper, you can set your desired loop length, the tempo, click/metronome settings, and whether the time is straight or swung. Click the record button in the middle of the screen to start a count-in and record your first loop. Click the record button again to overdub additional layers. Maximum single loop duration is 60 seconds, and there's no limit to overdubs. If for any reason you don't like the last overdub you recorded, you can tap the undo button to erase it. If you change your mind, you can tap redo to bring it back. At the bottom of the loop interface is a trash can icon you can use to clear the loop completely. You can adjust the volume of the click and loop by clicking into the mixer. The Groove Looper has a lot of the same basic settings as a Simple Looper, but with the addition of a drum track. Choose a drum pattern by clicking the Add Drum button. Clicking the filter icon allows you to choose drum tracks by genre. When you find a drum pattern you like, you can add it to your favorites by tapping on the star next to it. To jump to your favorites, click the star icon in the upper right corner of the Select Drum Track page. Getting into the Groove Looper settings, you can set loop length and tempo just like in Simple Looper. You can also choose whether you want the drums to play an ending for your performance. Just like the Simple Looper, clicking the record button will give you a count-in and start recording your first loop. After closing the first loop, clicking record again will start an overdub when the loop comes back around to the beginning. You can undo and redo overdubs, like before. Clear the loop with the trash button and set the mix between your looped audio and the drums with the mixer tab. Access Smart Jam to play along to custom accompaniment. Choose one of the 4 drummers, click Let's Jam, and set a tempo to play against. Smart Jam relies on interacting with the sound of your playing coming from your Spark's amp speakers, so it's recommended that you put your device near the speakers for the best experience. Due to the nature of this functionality, Smart Jam and Quick Jam are not available for Spark Neo, since it's a headphone amp and doesn't actually project sound into the room for the Spark app to listen to. Smart Jam will count you in, and you can play chords or riffs for it to analyze. Based on what you play, the Spark app will create a set of accompaniments including bass and drums you can choose to jam along and practice with. Quick Jam offers chord charts with bass and drums for you to play along to in 4 music genres: pop, rock, funk, and blues. Next, you'll find backing tracks to play along to, including recent tracks you've used with your Spark app's AutoChords. We'll get into AutoChords a little bit more in a few. Challenge yourself to play along to artist backing tracks from the likes of Steve Vai and Paul Gilbert, check out Tablature for popular guitar tunes, and play along to backing tracks from a wide variety of genres. Dead center of the menu is the Spark AI icon. Spark AI is an incredible new way to quickly craft tones from a simple prompt. Type in tone descriptions like glassy clean or crunchy blues, and Spark AI will present you with 4 tones to try out. If the tones aren't what you were looking for, try hitting the redo button to get 4 more tones to audition. Spark AI isn't limited by typical guitar and bass tone descriptions. You can try poetic prompts like spacey ambient clouds. Of course, you can ask Spark AI to match tones for artists and songs as well. Next up is the video recording page. Use this feature to capture your Spark amp performances to your device and share over social media. Swipe through the guide and follow the instructions, and you'll have a killer recording of your performance to share in no time. Last, in the bottom menu, we have the menu page. Starting at the top, you'll see the amp card, which shows the current amp model you have connected to the app. If you have more than one Spark amp model, you can swipe left to access your other amps. Below the picture of your amp, you'll see buttons to connect to tone control and Bluetooth audio. Each of these will be lit and have a green icon next to them if they're connected. If the connection is down, it'll be dimmed. Tapping the dimmed icon will open the device details page where you can reconnect your device. And while we're here, below the connections on this page are amp-specific settings. On Mini and Go, you can change the EQ scenario to fine-tune the sound of your amp's output. Switch the headphones/line out between stereo and mono output, decide when and if your amp will go into standby mode or shut down automatically, enable voice control, and switch between low and high Z modes. On Spark Neo, you can enable or disable voice guide, switch high Z mode on or off, and choose whether you want to enable a preset volume normalization. On Spark 2, Live, and Edge, this section contains the ability to adjust the power settings as well as the unique ability to change how the line out behaves in conjunction with the internal speakers. Switching this setting on will mute the amp's internal speakers when the line out connections are in use, and then turning this setting off allows you to get sound from the line out at the same time as using the internal speakers. This can be really useful in recording situations where you want a direct recording of the line outs while still being able to monitor your playing with the internal speakers. It's also great when you want to send audio out to a sound system or board while using your amp as an onstage monitor. Moving down further, you can check important device stats. You can see the current charge of your battery, give your amp a custom name, see the amp model, firmware version, and serial number. Next to the firmware version, you can see if your firmware is up to date or if an update is available. Depending on the model of Spark amp, you may need to connect to a computer to update the firmware. Some models, like Spark 2 and Edge, have the ability to update over the air via Wi-Fi directly from this section of the app. Next to last in this section is the ability to restore your amp to factory settings, something you might want to do if your amp is experiencing issues or if you want to restore the original factory presets. Lastly, you have the option to forget this device. Use this if you want to remove an amp you no longer own or use from your available connections. At the bottom of the amp card is the option to connect Spark Control and/or Control X. Click through to the controller you want to connect. Make sure your controller is charged up and powered on. You should be connected quickly. Once a controller is connected, tapping the connection below the amp card opens the controller device details. Here you can see the firmware version and check for updates. Similar to the amp device details page, you can choose to forget any controllers you no longer own or use. Moving down the page, you'll find your account settings. Clicking through accesses your profile where you can edit the specifics you want other ToneCloud users to see, including your display name, profile picture, bio, and website URL. You can also delete your account from this page if you wish. To log out of your account from within the app, click the gear icon on the profile page and click Log Out. Also available on your profile page are all the tones you've shared to ToneCloud. If you ever need to find a tone you've shared to ToneCloud, you can quickly find it and download it here. If you've saved any backing tracks you enjoy practicing or playing along to, you can access them by tapping Saved Songs. Click on What's New to find out the latest news about Positive Grid products. The Shop option quickly links you to other Positive Grid products you may wish to purchase, including the Experience Jimi Hendrix gear upgrade. If you have an Apple Music account, you can access it here. This is also how you access the AutoChords feature in the Spark app. Clicking on any song in your Apple Music library opens the song and automatically creates a synchronized chord chart you can play along with. It's a super easy way to learn how to play your favorite songs. If ToneCloud has tones available related to the song you're playing along to, you can access them by hitting the Tones button. In the top right corner, you'll find the ability to favorite your AutoChords session and access playback controls. Try out looping sections of the song you want to practice. Slow down the playback for working on tough sections, and decide whether or not you need to use a capo to match the original recording. Access the easy-to-use, super accurate tuner to keep your guitar or bass tuned up. The metronome is an important practice tool to get your playing and rhythm consistent. You can tap the sender to set a tempo, or swipe the dial to set a specific tempo manually. To learn more about your Spark amp and other Positive Grid products, click through the video learning section to watch videos like this one. If you're having trouble using your Spark amp or the app, click the Help Center link to access support documentation, FAQs, video tutorials, and more. Tapping the gear icon in the upper right corner of the menu page opens the Preferences page. Here you can back up and restore your tone presets, review Spark app terms and conditions, and review our privacy policy. To back up your tone presets, including any presets you've downloaded from ToneCloud to the app, click the Backup Tone Presets button. Next, you'll have the option to back up your presets to Dropbox. Connect your Dropbox account, allow it access, and your presets will be backed up. To restore, click the Restore Presets from Dropbox button. Confirm the restore and your presets will be back on your device in short order. If you no longer want to allow the Spark app to access your Dropbox account, you can unlink it here too. The Spark app really is the key to all the greatest features and functionality of the Spark family of amps. You can certainly use your Spark amp without the app by using the factory presets. To really get the whole Spark experience, you owe it to yourself to dive in and explore everything on offer. Happy jamming!